During this session, we may speak about forward-facing features that are in pilot or beta. Please make all of your implementations, purchasing, and investment decisions based on what we currently have available now.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good night, depending on where you are in the world. Once again, I am Kevin Poorman, aka Code Fryer, and today we're doing a Code Live with our special guest, Adam Daw. We're going to start off with some introductions, and then we're going to talk about what we're going to build today and why we chose to build that in the mobile app, and then we'll have some coding time. We're going to build something super cool, and then we're going to have a recap here at the end. So with that said, let's talk about our introductions. Adam, what are you dressed as today for Halloween? I think we've lost Adam's audio. Hello? Well, in that case, I'm going to say, nevermore, nevermore. It's always fun when the audio drops out after we've been testing it for half an hour. Adam is the head of engineering at CodeVenture, and he is from the fair country of Canada. I am Kevin Poorman, that's me on the right. I'm a developer evangelist here at Salesforce.com, and my favorite superhero is Thor, because there's finally a superhero that looks like me after Endgame. So with that said, let's jump into what we're going to talk about today. We're going to be building a candy tracker app, because it is Halloween, and everyone knows that the best part is candy. And so we're going to be working on a mobile app. We're going to build this inside the Salesforce app. So we've got a lot of the use of the word app here. What I mean is we're going to use the Salesforce app that you can download from your app store, and we're going to build with Lightning Web Components some functionality into that, expose that on our in our org, and then allow you to do things like capture your location, so that as you're walking around trick-or-treating tonight, you can capture where you are, and then you can take metadata down, like what kind of treats they gave you, how many, etc. And we'll also look at past year's candy stops and let you know what nearby candy stops are. Like last year, oh, this house had the good stuff. So you'll be able to pull up a map and see that as you plan your route. So we're going to be working with this project. If you want to join us on GitHub to look at it afterwards, you can join here, and all the code will be there, and you'll be able to tweak or add on to it as you like. If you have like a great idea for something for one of these, feel free to send a pull request. We'll get it reviewed and in place. So I'm going to stop our slides here, and we're going to have a little bit of a costume change, because as it turns out, I have mad respect for people with long hair. I can't do this. I'm going to take my wig off here real quick, and then we'll get into our code. So let me back out of it. I can kind of hear you now.
Okay, well, let's see if taking off this muffly mask helps.
Okay.
How about now? Is that better?
Okay, I'm back to being the hairless wonder. So okay. What is your official costume today?
I was a plague doctor.
A plague doctor?
Yeah, back from, when we had to worry about plagues. People didn't have vaccinations and that kind of thing. And, illnesses got kind of crazy.
Okay.
Good thing we don't need that kind of stuff anymore.
Yeah, amen. Amen. I've got this candy tracker app page created in our org, and you should be able to see that on your screen. Over here, for a little bit of orientation, this is my phone running the Salesforce app on iOS, and I can swipe up, and then you get to see all sorts of fun things. Let me Face ID out of that, and then back into Salesforce app. So we've got our Salesforce app running here. We have our Salesforce org running here. We're going to expose this candy tracker app as we build it in mobile, so that we can actually see everything that we're doing on our mobile screen. So where do we want to start, Adam?
Well, I guess let's start by making sure that we can actually surface a location. I think the easiest way to do that would be to, do you have, if we can pull in a map of our current location and then be able to see that.
So let's build a Lightning Web component.
Okay.
And what should we call this? Just Candy Tracker or
Sure.
Candy Tracker? Okay.
Yeah.
Candy Tracker. Put it in the fault directory. Fire that up. Okay. I think we're going to need track just so we can keep track of things.
Yeah, definitely.
I almost always add track. And we've got our candy tracker class there. If we want to do something when the component loads, like grab the initial one, we could do it with a constructor, but we could also do it in like rendered callback or connected callback. Do you have an opinion on that?
I think that connected callback makes sense. We don't need to
Okay.
necessarily wait until complete render just to pull the data, as long as it's available by the time everything gets displayed.
Okay, so I'm going to add a track object for position. And I'm just going to stub out this object a little bit based on what I know the JavaScript HTML5 component, or excuse me, HTML5 geolocation API is going to give us back. So to make things a little bit sensible here, we'll just do a little stubbed out object.
Okay.
And then we can do our connected callback. Connected callback, and we don't accept anything. Now, are you familiar with the HTML5 geolocation APIs?
It's been a while since I played with the browser-specific one, but I do have some familiarity with it, yeah.
So it's all built into the navigator object that you get exposed, that is exposed. So we're gonna say if navigator, and then I've got some notes here, geolocation. So if geolocation exists, then we can continue. So that's, if we don't have it, we're not gonna do any of this work. So we should probably do an else. And then, you know, for right now, let's just do console log, geolocation not allowed. No candy for you. All right, so if we have our geolocation object, we actually need to go get that, and there's a method used to grab that, and that's navigator.geolocation.getCurrentPosition. And when you call getCurrentPosition, it accepts sort of closure functions on what to do with that. So here in our method, let's do this. Let's say position. Use an arrow function like that. Why would we use an arrow function there?
Because the context is important.
Yep, because we need access to this so that we can set our position variable, this dot position. I can type equals to our position, and then it'll accept a second one for errors. So we'll do error, and we should probably do a track error. We'd say this dot error equals error, and let's do console.log. No candy. Typing mad.
Tell you what, why don't we make it a little bit easier and actually surface, instead of having to look at the actual error object, why don't we use the handy backtick and replacements and just log out the error message? What do you think?
I think that's a much better way of doing it.
Okay, let's do that.
Okay, that's great. So this is the basics of grabbing our geolocation. When this is connected, this component is connected in the DOM, it will fire this up, grab our location. The first time it goes to do this, it's going to ask us if we want the user wants to give permission to the app to grab the location. So when we're testing this out, you see it on my phone, I've already given permission, but you will see that permission question mark the first time it comes up.
Okay.
And so if we're gonna take our candy tracker and we're gonna have the position in here, do we want to just immediately do something in the actual view of the component?
Like what?
I don't know. I mean, I feel like we gotta test this a little bit in order to in the browser to make sure we can see what's going on.
Just like log out the coordinates or something like that, or display them on the page?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's so my browser is not my file browser is not refreshing.
Oh.
It's this is how you know it's live. Let me refresh Explorer. Okay.
Are you
That's
looking
great.
for like in the LWC?
Yeah.
It's not showing up. Weird. Yeah, same for me actually. When I look at it through the live share.
That's interesting. All right, so I'm going to close that file. And we'll do this. We'll do reveal in Finder. And here's our candy tracker. Here are our files. I'm just going to drag them over and do it that way.
Fair enough.
So here's our candy tracker again. This is our metadata file. We're going to have to expose this. Do we have to do anything special to get this out on mobile?
I think that we need to, I'm trying to remember what the specific tag is, but we need to expose which services it's available for.
Yeah, I don't remember what it is either, but we did look this up earlier, and I put it in here like this. So I'm going to take it and just copy and paste this. I'll walk through what it does here in just a second.
That's it. It's the targets.
It's targets. It's one of those things that like as soon as I go look it up, I remember what it is, but when I actually need it, I can't remember what it is.
Yeah.
I should have a cheat sheet of things that I forgot that I know I remember.
Or like a snippet or something like that, and you just
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in this setup, we're saying that we can use this component on a Lightning record page, a Lightning app page, or a Lightning home page. But we've got a configuration set up for the target. If when it's an app page, we're specifically saying that it supports the small form factor, which is the phone.
Right.
Okay. We're also doing large so that we can see it in our browser. And so that's our metadata. So let me save that. And then over here in our template, we could do a sub template, or let's do. How do you think we should do this? Like a sub template, so that if we have a position, it shows something.
Yeah, we could do that. Yeah, just use like the if true on the template.
Go for it.
Okay. So we'll do a template if true like that, and then our value. So we're just looking for position, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's probably just going to be something like. Oh, that's not where I want that. That's where I want that.
So yeah.
And then we can display in here. Do we have like specific? Like I said, I'm not super familiar with what the actual layout's going to look like. So
position.coordinates.
Okay, that's what I was asking.
Latitude.
Mm-hmm. And then longitude.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's go ahead and just enclose that.
Oh, you're making it pretty.
Well, you know, pretty's important. People got to look at this. There we go.
So I'm going to trigger a save here, and this is going to, I've set up my Visual Studio Code to automatically push to the org when I save it. Okay. So if we go back to the browser and we are looking at our Candy Tracker app page, I'm going to edit this, edit the page. And we've got a custom component here called Candy Tracker. I'm just going to drag this up there, save it. I've already set this to be activated, so it'll show up in mobile navigation, etc.
Okay,
and I'm going to go back here, and hopefully this, oh, there we go.
Hey, great.
So we're using the browser to in Salesforce to grab the geolocation lat long of where we're at. Now, just for grins and giggles, let's do that in the mobile app. Let me wake my phone up here again and open up the Candy Tracker. And there we go. Now, interestingly enough, do we have the same? It's very close. The mobile phone is a bit more precise.
Yeah, better than the browser. You know what? I'm actually feeling like we should probably make this a little bit nicer looking. So why don't we just wrap this in a lightning card? What do you think?
I think that's great.
All right.
I think you need an N, and there you go.
Yeah. All right, cool. I was trying to see if I had properly enabled the emit autocomplete for this computer. So look at that Prettify, that's so much better.
Yeah,
If you refresh, what does it look like now? Okay,
Well,
so I'm going to go ahead and...
It's cached on the mobile app here. Let's see what it looks like over here in the browser.
I mean, the lightning card itself is just kind of like going to do a div encapsulate, right?
Yeah.
Let's do some kind of additional styling on this. Here, I'm going to do this.
Like it? Refresh this here as soon as that. So we haven't got a body slot. Oh, there we go. Okay.
But I'm going to clean this up a bit too, and add in a body div.
I like it.
All right, there we go.
So we'll go back here. Then again, my coordinates. Come on, grab the coordinates.
Yeah, I'm going to remove the body div and the body slot and just set it as a standard div.
Okay.
How's that look for us?
There we go.
Okay, it's still not pretty, but we can play with it later.
Yeah, and we can also do something like, you know, while our coordinates here are interesting, we could also do something like display a map with our current location.
Oh, we could, yeah.
So in order to do that, let's set up some other information here. Let's have a track variable called current location. And here, when we set the position, let's set our current location to what that needs to be. In order to do that, we have to know what our map marker, what the map API, the map component is going to look for, because we're going to use Lightning Map, right?
Okay, sure.
Effortless to put that in there. And that has sort of this, has a location subclause and then a latitude and longitude. So what that actually looks like is something like this. And I'm just going to put this here as a comment. Of course, it tries to, we go like that. So our current location is going to be an array of these location elements. So when we get our position here, we can actually say this dot current location dot push. It's push, right, in JavaScript?
Yep.
And we'll push a object that has location and then latitude this dot position dot coords dot latitude and longitude.
I mean, I guess technically we could still use position, right? Because we're still within that context if we wanted to.
Yeah, and that makes it a little bit easier to read. So let's just go ahead and do that.
Okay.
We'll save that.
Now, is it important that we're using capital L and on the latitude and longitude within the location object?
That is what it's expecting.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So back over here in our HTML, we've got our coordinates here.
Yeah.
I'm just going to do a lightning map. And let's see. This is where I always go back and I look at the lightning component library, because it has all of this built out for us and we can just really quickly look at it. So here is the lightning components, and I'm going to look for map
Sure.
And we're going to be doing a single marker. So this is going to be map markers is our
Right.
tag.
And we got to
And
use
that's
that
gonna be our-
kebab case in the actual lightning markup for the template.
Yeah. So we'll do this here, map markers, but we didn't call ours map markers. We called ours current location.
Right.
And that's it. That's our map.
Okay.
So if we save this.
Why don't we make it a little bit more accessible and add in like a map title?
Oh.
What do you think?
I think that's great, but I think we'll have to put it inside the tag.
Okay. Yeah, sure. We can.
Like that? Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
Okay.
Because especially because our array right now is just the one item.
Right. But we also may need to wrap this in no, if it's already wrapped in the if true position. So if we go back up here and reload this, hopefully, fingers crossed. Boom, look at that. It showed a map.
It did.
But it did not zoom in where we wanted.
No.
Let's see, scroll down a little bit. We do have our coordinates.
Yeah.
We do have the map there. It is saying my coordinates. Let's see. Let's look at our lightning map example again. So here is the single marker. We've got map markers. We called ours current location.
Yeah.
And it's got that location. They're using the street, city, state, but I know for a fact we can actually use the
lat long. Totally.
lat long. So I think it's that example is actually here. Let's just verify that I got that right. Map markers title. Let's look in the JavaScript. And
Here.
this may be a little hard to read. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. When this one is doing the map markers, these are all country and cities. I knew there was a way to do this with no, that's with the two. Let's look at the documentation. Maybe it's in the documentation. I saw it.
It is. So if you look further down in the documentation, you'll see it. There it is. But if we wanted to zoom in, why don't we set the zoom level as well?
Oh. How so?
So underneath our markers title, let's set a zoom dash level.
Go for it.
Okay. And so we'll do this, and I'm just going to set mine to. We could set it within the code, but I think probably just set it to like 15. I think that'll work.
And here, I'm looking at this here. I'm going to open up the dev tools. And I'm going to put a breakpoint in. And to do that, I'm going to go to the sources. And here is our candytracker.js.
Totally.
And you'll notice it's totally not pretty printed, but that little button down here will fix that for us. And I'm going to just scroll through here till we get to our, we're pushing this on there. So this is an equal trick. You JSON.stringify. You can do, in this case, O is our proxy variable, showing us nothing there. That's interesting.
Okay.
So let's do this dot position, and it's a proxy as well, but
Now, what's interesting is like if you scroll down underneath your map, we are still seeing the coordinates. They're just not showing up in the array.
Yeah. So let's do this. Let's look at our code. We're pushing this location. Just make sure I haven't misspelled location, correct? No, I spelled that right. Position.
Location.
And
everything looks okay there.
Coordinates and latitude and longitude are spelled. It's not a typo. Let's do this. Let's I don't know that we need that there, do we? Yes,
what are you looking at? Oh,
these.
Oh yeah, we do, because we're pushing an object, right?
Yep.
Which has a location property that's also an object.
Yep. And then I'm going to push it here.
And we can log it as well.
Yep. So now that we're going to create this.
If you look though, if you keep going down, if you look at line 29, it looks like we haven't enclosed something. I'm seeing an error on my page, like
the little pink underline.
Yeah.
That's because console.log is technically unexpected.
Oh,
with
we
the
should
ESLint configuration.
We should kind of put the ESLint exception in.
I don't remember how to do that.
I just did it.
Oh, you put that up at the top, or?
Yeah, I just did it for the whole file because we're gonna do a lot of logging.
Okay.
So if you scroll up to the top of your the Candy tracker, you can see ESLint disable no console.
Yep. I'm gonna put that back in there. I had a little bit of a conflict because I tried to save right as you were saving. Yep. Okay. So unexpected token.
Okay. So yeah.
There we go.
There's I think that's semicolon. So location, right? Shouldn't have a semicolon at the end there. Oh, apparently it was out of sync for the live share, so I gotta.
Okay.
I had to refresh.
Okay. It'll be the same link.
Yep, we're good. Okay. Yeah. So removing that seemed to clean things up a bit.
See if this. Okay. So here we have our constant t. It dumped us back into our debugger, and you can see that we have a location, latitude, longitude that we're putting into the array. But let's just hit forward on this, and it did not send us to where we are. So let's see. Let's look at this t object. We are in our code, we're tracking current location and error. Console.log this current location. Let's try that one.
Well, yeah, because we haven't pushed it yet until the next line.
Yeah, no, I'm looking at it here. Adding some more to breakpoints. So here we push it. And now we have the updated version of it, and t equals. It's not going to expand it for me. Okay. So if I do this dot current location. Just do the first one because there's only one in there. Oh, we got to use the uppercase. It's an odd, undefined. Oh, it's because it's location. And it's an object.
Empty object?
No?
Okay.
Interesting.
Why don't we switch it from let's see. What about just swapping it from current location back to map markers as an object? That shouldn't make a difference.
Never hurts to try when we're trying to figure out what's going on. So map markers.
And I'm also gonna when we're kind of in this scenario, I also think reducing complexity is probably good. So I'm gonna remove the markers title and the zoom level.
Okay.
Did you rename it to map markers?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm gonna update the template then. I just done.
Okay. Looks like you hit right as I was saving it.
Did we get a conflict or?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Okay, so refresh this here in our browser. Well, it zooms in. Here we go. Here's T, which is our constant.
I think that actually because you were saving at the same time, the way it's saved, it may have overwritten my changes because I removed the zoom level.
Okay, we'll check here in just a second.
Yeah, okay. I just resaved and it got rid of the zoom.
Okay.
However, it's still not showing our location.
Weird.
Yeah.
Huh. Map markers. Let's look at our documentation for the map here again. So we've got map markers with a location, and we're doing it map markers the same. It's not tracked.
Interesting.
I marked it as tracked because when that changes, we want to re-render it.
Yeah.
But maybe we need to let that not be.
If it's not tracked, it's still going to be because we call it in the class or in the template.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, that doesn't seem to make a change.
Do we have any errors going on?
I checked in the console. I didn't see anything.
Yeah, I didn't see anything either. Okay, so I'm going to revert that. And we're doing this in the connected callback. I wonder what would happen if we made it sort of, you push a button to get the location.
Okay.
I'm trying to think of why that would make a difference. Because
maybe when we were doing the refresh, there were some points where the latitude and longitude didn't exist yet by the time the page loaded, right? So maybe that's the issue. Maybe we should wait until the whole thing's rendered.
So rendered callback?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so we changed that to the rendered callback. So now we're pushing this here, but we've already drawn the map. But we should be refreshing this because it's at tracked.
Did you replace the at track?
I did.
Okay.
Up here.
Well, let's try your button approach then.
All right. So let's do a on tap get location.
Okay.
And here we can basically lift this whole section.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so when we tap this, we're going to grab the geolocation fix, show that. We're going to update our test. You know, let's do this. Let's just say map markers equals our object.
Sure.
And then we're going to need a button. So let's do lightning button. Oh yeah. And we'll do on click equals on tap get location.
It should be on tap get location.
Yeah. And I think it's supposed to be this way. No, and then I need to finish the tag. Does it not like that? Okay, fine. Oh, and we should probably put a label there.
Yeah.
So we'll save that, and now if we render this, we should see a button here. And if we tap get location, here we are in our method. I'm just gonna click through this real quick.
Oh, that did the trick for me.
Yep, there it is. Now we probably want to set our zoom level. I don't know why this is not working in the rendered callback or connected callback.
I think it has to do with like maybe the coordinates don't exist at the right time for the map.
Okay. Well, let's re-add our title and zoom level.
Okay.
I'm going to clear these if you want to type that.
Sure. And I don't think we need, I mean, the zoom levels seem to be happening pretty automatically for us, but
yeah.
Let's do it anyway, just for cleanliness sake.
Now, how do you know what 15 is?
It's just a memory from a previous version.
Oh, okay. I was like, 15? Is that like, you know, count the bugs on the house type thing?
Let's see. Let's check in the documentation.
So 15 gives me a fairly.
Oh, it's defined by the Google Maps API. There's a set of them.
Do we want to go up or down to zoom in a little bit more?
Let's do that. I just refreshed it. Why don't you? Okay, there it goes.
Looks like it's saving in the background here, and then I'll refresh.
Would you like more?
Yeah, let's go for more.
Okay, well then, coming your way.
I'm looking at like, I think we probably want something like house level, where we can see the houses.
Well, in that case, we could just remove the zoom level, because if you don't cross the zoom level, the default is accommodate all the markers that are currently set. Okay. So if you only have one marker, then you're fine.
Yeah. All right. We'll get rid of that. We'll save that. Okay. Now I'm going to load this up on the phone just to, you know, show that we're not making this up as we go along.
Sure.
Now I noticed that when I do this, I have to oftentimes restart the app in order to get a Lightning app page to re-render. My coordinates. Where's my button? Stretch shatter and then going back to our candy tracker. Oh, you know what it is? My button is inside.
Oh, the medium class, or
it's inside the position, the if true position.
Right. Interesting. Then why does it work in the other scenario?
Yeah, that's weird.
probably something to do with the browser already calling the position, and it doesn't call it by default in your mobile app.
Yeah, it's interesting.
No.
Let's try it again. I just reloaded it.
Cool.
All right, so we have our map, we have a get location. I'm going to trigger get location again.
Well, we have a marker. We just don't know where it is.
Yeah,
Oh, there it is.
we need to back out a little bit of the zoom.
Okay, so we can set a default zoom level then.
Yeah.
Why don't we say, I'm just going to pull up the Google Maps API so I can zoom level, so I can get some more info on which is the one for what we want.
Yeah.
All right, so.
Because it's not wrong. And is there a way to set it to satellite mode?
Let's find out. Let's see. I'm also looking at the documentation. So the specification says we have markers title, map markers, center, zoom level, list view, and show footer. Those are our available options.
Yeah, I'm looking at that too.
Right. So the options it shows are world, landmass, continent, city, streets, and buildings. That's a 1, 5, 10, 15, 20.
Let's do like streets.
That's 15. So, but we found 15 was a little not enough. So we could do 20 and see how that looks.
Okay. Or can we like go 17?
Sure.
All right.
Deploying.
All right. So I'm gonna reload this, see if it, okay. Get location. It's still awfully zoomed in, but that's on the phone. And we know that it sometimes takes a little bit of cajoling to refresh this. Let's reload it here in our browser.
Sounds good.
Get location. Oh, hey, look at that. That was what, 17?
Yep, that's 17.
Let's do 19 and move on.
Sounds good.
All right. So now we got a place to get our location, but we actually want to be able to see other things on the map that are
right
candy stops, and we want to be able to add candy stops.
Also true. Which one of those do we want to tackle first?
Let's add a candy stop, and then we can go and see it.
Okay.
So here on our candy, go ahead.
Yep, go ahead.
No, you first.
I was going to say, so I mean, we already have the most important piece of a candy stop, which is our location. We've clicked on the get location, and it gives us that value.
Yep. So once we have the location, we could, instead of showing the map, although we probably still want to show the map, right?
Yeah, I'm thinking underneath where we're currently just displaying the coordinates, let's instead display a form so that we can enter more information.
So maybe like a lightning record edit form?
Yeah.
All right. I like the way you're doing this. Lightning record edit form. And I'm sure there's other things we're going to have to add into this definition. That's why I like to keep this open. So here's our record edit form. If I click on the right one. And we're going to have to provide, this is editing a record. We're going to create a record. So we can give our object name, which is candy tracker.
Our object for the actual record is candy spot.
Oh, all right. So candy spot, like that?
Well, yep.
Okay. And then here we're going to give it some messages. I like going back here and looking at how they do it. You see they got the messages there, put that there. And then you're the one who set up the metadata for this candy spot. What kind of fields do we need? Is it an auto name or?
No, it's a name, which is kind of, I'm using as like a little bit of a notes as well. So you can give it a fun name.
Okay.
So we need a name. Then we have a few others. We have I don't want to rush you, but we've got candy type.
It's candy type _ C.
Yep.
Okay.
We've got candy date. Although right now we got to move line 18 to below line 19.
Yes, we do. Good catch. And then I'm just going to copy this, and we're going to do candy type. What was the next one?
Candy date, the date that we are receiving said candy.
Okay.
Quantity, the number of pieces of candy we've received.
Is it so just quantity?
Yep. Size.
Quantity. Size? What do you mean by size?
You know, because they have like regular sized chocolate bars that some of the really awesome houses give out, or the mini chocolate bars, or sometimes they have the jumbo chocolate bars.
That's what we give out.
Oh, nice. Do you have a really long driveway?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought. There's a strong correlation between how long your driveway is and the size of the candy you have to give out.
Yep.
Okay.
All right, so candy type after size, you've got what?
So other than quantity and size and type, we have a couple of checkboxes.
Okay.
If somebody gives out like healthy treats instead of actual candy, we probably want to call that out. Yeah, because that's a waste of time.
Healthy?
Yeah, and then
Okay.
also, you know, try to be mindful of those of us who might have a nut allergy. We also have a checkbox for nuts. So it's like if they give out a chocolate bar, but turns out it's a Snickers, well, you know.
Good try, but thanks. Thanks for trying.
Yeah.
All right, so you got nuts. Where do we get to put our location in?
I don't think we have to, right? Because we already like get location will already have retrieved it, and so we'll already have it in our information.
But don't we have to pass it into the record edit form?
Well, I suppose if we're just going to use the standard create, then yeah, we'll need to. Okay, so
or, I mean, we could override it, but let's use the standard create.
Okay.
And that's going to be location fields are funny. That's location __ R. No,
it's S, isn't it?
S.
But I think you have to do like the latitude and longitude separately.
Yeah. It's, let's do this. Geolocation fields Salesforce. With the power of Google, we can always figure out exactly what things are if the internet speeds up. All right, so here's a geolocation field. You'll see that it's __ S, but it's after the latitude. So we'll do it this way. So location latitude __ S, and we'll do another one for longitude.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And can we pre-populate a value?
We should be able to, right? Especially because we've already set it. So it would
Position dot coordinates dot latitude.
Yeah.
I'll try it this way.
Because position is tracked as well, right? So
longitude. Okay, I'm going to save this. It's going to get lots longer. And let's look at what it looks like in our browser.
Sounds
Reload
good.
this. And we have this map here.
It's really big.
It did not like the candy spot.
Yeah, we got to capitalize.
All right.
Done.
All right, save that. We'll reload this. It's interesting to me that this is automatically showing the map, even though I haven't clicked get location yet. So let's reload this. And I'm going to click get location. Hey, that's a perfect zoom level.
Thanks. I worked
And
really hard on
here. Unfortunately, we only have one field showing.
Maybe it's a field visibility thing.
Oh. Well, I'm an admin.
Yeah.
Field name, quantity. So this one is showing.
Yeah, well, name, but name is a default field, right? So.
All right, so let's look at let's go into setup, and we'll look at the FLS for it.
Yeah.
Object manager. Candy spot. Where did it go? Am I looking in the wrong spot? No, it's under each one of these, isn't it?
Yeah. So candidate, field accessibility, FLS. Yeah, there we go. That's the issue. All right, I'm updating them.
Okay. Which one are you starting on? I'll meet you in the middle.
I'm starting at candidate. Why don't you try to refresh and see how it looks?
Okay.
Just see if it shows up.
Okay. Still nothing. Okay, well, you reset the FLS. We've got a couple questions that have come in from the community that I'm going to address.
Okay.
Because we're running short on time, unfortunately. Can we put LWC components on a record page and show on a mobile screen? I believe you can do that as of the last release. Adam, do you have?
I mean, if you've modified the record layout, yeah, then that shouldn't be a problem. Like especially because you can build your own like app page that overrides it, right? So that you can have like the record detail and then another component.
Somebody pointed out that these fields are case sensitive, so I'm going to go fix these here in.
Great.
And let's see. Location. I don't know if that's. We'll have to test that one. Okay, we'll save that. Other questions we've gotten in. Shouldn't the coordinates be inside the lightning map? The coordinates inside of our candy tracker here for our map. Well, we are putting the map markers flag in there. That's where we're pulling the markers. So yeah, it is using the Google Maps API.
That's what the lightning map component uses.
Yep, and it's a base component, so you don't have to worry about figuring out all the keys and all that other stuff. You just call lightning map like this, and we're good to go there. So this is saved. I'm going to refresh this and see if we see any fields down at the bottom now. Get location. And we'll zoom down. Hey, here's our field. So let's go ahead and try adding one here. Let's call this Stay Puff House, because I have a giant Stay Puff inflatable in my front yard.
Nice.
And Stay Puff is going to give out, oh, we don't have marshmallows.
We'll don't. Should I add those on?
Nah, that's fine. We'll do it today. Quantity 4. Healthy, no. No nuts. Great new. Now, our field doesn't actually, our form doesn't actually reset, but we can go and look at our candy spots and see if we just created Stay Puff's house. It did. It did not create the location field, so obviously we didn't get that quite right.
Well, yeah, because your location, you updated the location latitude, but not the longitude.
Well, it didn't even get the latitude. Do we need to capitalize latitude, I wonder, and longitude?
We can try it.
Yeah, we'll find out when they show up or don't on the form. Yeah, they're not showing up down there. Let's try it. Doesn't look like we're going to be able to complete this in our hour, but we've gotten a lot done, haven't we?
I think so.
Yeah. So let's try this one more time. Let's actually get it recording the location before the time runs out.
Sure.
Get location. Yeah, there you go.
Great.
I love how it's rounding up. Might have a rounding issue there. And what kind of candy should Cody give out? Lollipops?
Sure.
Candy date is today. And then we didn't have to do anything to get that date picker. It just lightning input field.
Yeah, it's a smart input.
Yeah.
And because quantity is not a decimal value, it also respects that.
Okay. So if I click to create new, now we go back to our candy spots. Here. Cody spot. We have, and it only rounded up in the display.
Yeah, even if you click on it, it actually shows the full.
Yeah. So that was in the browser. Let's try this on the phone. This is our sort of gold standard, right?
Sure.
So I'm gonna start Salesforce up. So we've got our get location button. If we hit that, this is the old version of the page.
Yeah.
Now somebody mentioned, you can do settings, advanced, clear cache data. So let's do that. Settings, advanced, clear cache data. It's doing its thing there. Okay. And we'll go back to our candy tracker page. There's our form.
Great.
So here we get location. And yeah, there's our location fields.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Now we could have done other things like, if we had time, show on the map other candy spots from past years and show a rating of like, no, this is the place to go. So go there first before they run out. But unfortunately, we've run out of time. I'm going to transition back to some slides here, and we'll go to present that. Some key takeaways that we'd like you to remember. You can use the HTML5 APIs to access sensor data inside the Salesforce app, which means you can do things like grab the geolocation of the device you're on within the Salesforce app and then do something with that. And we use Lightning Web Components to access those HTML5 APIs. So those three things, you put them all together, you can actually do some fairly sophisticated apps built into the Salesforce app. And that Salesforce app is the one we got straight from the App Store. There wasn't anything special to it. We just had it put there, put it on our phone, and then logged into our org, and there we had it. There is a trail mix. You can learn more about doing things with either org components or Lightning Web Components on mobile inside the Salesforce app. And you can see a whole bunch of information on there. This is probably the longest trail mix I've put together, but it covers a whole bunch of things, including some native app work if you would like. And then so long, and thanks for all the candy. This has been an awesome Codetober. Adam, thanks for joining me today. If you want to catch up on any of the previous episodes, maybe you didn't catch the code reviews or the Lightning Web Components open source one, you can always check them out at the trailhead.salesforce.com link. And one last thing, we at Dreamforce are going to be doing this Iron Coder Challenge, where you can challenge Renee Winkelmeyer to see who will reign supreme in Code Stadium. So if you would like to challenge him, please fill out this form, this bit.ly form, so that we can get you set up with that. All right. With that said, we have time for maybe one more Q&A, and we've gotten a bunch of questions. We've gotten a bunch of comments. I'm looking at these that see there are questions here, and I'm looking. Are we struggling to demonstrate common issues developers have, or are you really having problems? Is one of the questions we got. I think it's a little mix of both. When I talk about CodeLive, it's always the benefit of it is always in not only teaching a specific technology or working on a specific technology, it's also in general debugging skills. So we have in the background, before we get to show, we always sort of prototype what we're going to work on, but we don't fully flesh out and build out the app that we're going to be demonstrating. So for instance, we had it where it was pulling the geolocation when you hit a button. That was part of our prototype. We didn't test it with the rendered callback or connected callback, which turns out to be something that we have as an issue. It's a real life issue. So debugging that is part of what we're trying to share, those debugging skills. If somebody wanted to know if you had multiple points that you wanted to show in your map markers array, you just add to that array. So if you had another house you wanted to add, you can just go ahead and add that to the array. And because that's tracked, when that array updates, the Lightning map will update and those points will show up.
Yeah, if you look at the Lightning components reference, it actually shows what that object could look like. And there's a lot more details that you can introduce for your individual map marker points.
Yeah, and the sky's pretty much the limit there. Yeah, do we have best practices in terms of naming conventions? Like a handler for an on-click should be called handler get location click. I don't know of anything that we've sort of officially posted on that. I like to make sure that when you read the function or method name that you know exactly what it's doing and when it's being called. So on tap get location seems like a perfectly valid on-click handler. I'm from the native development side of things usually, and we call it taps, not clicks. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think one of the other things to remember is that your name should be descriptive, right? There's no descriptive, but at the same time not too complicated because you're gonna have to type them out or you're gonna have to autocomplete them. And remember that sometimes this is when you're referencing a variable or a property, it's gonna be either kebab case or camel case or even Pascal case in some very specific contexts when you're dealing with LWC. So it's important to be able to make sure that things are readable, but at the same time, you'll be able to understand what you were trying to get at when you look at this 3 months later.
Yeah. People talk about commenting their code. Comments are important, but more so than comments is just intelligible, read it and know what's happening, variable names and function names.
Yeah.
When you click out of this, you're going to get a survey. Please fill it out. That helps me and the rest of us figure out what to talk about, how to do these better, etc. We really value your feedback, so please fill out the survey. And with that, I want to say thank you and so long. Thanks for all the candy. Thanks, Adam. Bye.
Thanks a lot. Take care.